This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
The warmth from inside touch you as you go up the last stairs, and you see through the entrance a long table, and on the high seat at the far end, on a throne-like wooden chair, sits a man with long black hair, starting to grey by the temples. Halfdan the Black will soon be called Halfdan the Grey if he keeps on surviving. And at his long table sit men and women, all of them in good health, as it seems. No one here seems to be scrawny the way that basically everyone you meet in the cursed north nowadays. And the hall comes to a silence as you step over the threshold. "What's this then?" Halfdan the Black says. "Visitors in my hall? This is interesting. Svein would not have let you in unless for something quite spectacular. Come, strangers, enter my hall and tell me your names and purpose."
Yes. Hail, as I was going to say. Hail, Halfdan King, your ruling of these lands and 10 nations to stick to the old ways, travel far and wide. We are travelers bearing news from the south. I am Valgrim Thorvaldsson of Albinstorp, and with me, I bring no one else than Sigvald Crow, the Völva, with his Völur staff of old, and he has seen many things and many omens, and we would gladly share your table and tell you our stories.
And I just grumble a little to myself, but I don't speak up just yet.
Halfdan looks at you and looks at your staff. "Indeed, I recognize a Völver staff when I see one. What news have you from Alfheim?"
Much, but first, we have traveled far and braved fire and flame, and this one has braved great battle. I lie through my teeth as I say, "And we must have fire and mead, and then, great king, you will serve the All-Father, as I have seen is your fate."
Love it. I'd love a spirit roll for this to see how Halfdan will react to it.
That's 9.
Yeah, he looks at you with doubt in his eyes. And he says, "Fire and warmth you will have. And we will toss you some food to eat. But before I give you mead, I will hear your tale."
Ha! I spit on the ground. "Very well, king, it is simple. The All-Father calls to you all. Your time has come to rise up and reclaim the land. The rumor you hear is true, and we must follow it. And this one will lead the way." And I hit my friend / traveling companion a little hard on the head with my stick.
In my turn, yes, I sit down near the fire as close as we get, as there is room, and I nod and I hum and huff along to what Sigvald is proclaiming. This is most dire and most serious. They should be taking it seriously. As I reach for something to eat, and I say, "Yes, indeed, we On my way from the old ruins, the smouldering remains of what used to be Albin's Torp, now claimed in the name of this false carpenter god. We witnessed firsthand an attack upon us from their false magic. Fire raining down from the sky, burning the landscape, burning the feet. There was an entire village nearby that vanished, engulfed in the flames. Children, women, and the men, they all fell to it. We tried to help them out, but they were already smoldering corpses by the time we got out of our cave where we had taken shelter. It was foul. It was foul. And yet it didn't lessen our resolve. We are now here with you, and we know that together, just as Sigvald has proclaimed, we shall find out the truth of these signs, the rumors that spread through this land.
As you finish speaking, his reply is interrupted by noise coming from outside. And the sentry, Svein, is running up. He says, "They've returned. They've returned. Looks like they found him." And he rushes out again. And the people around the long table are all starting to talk amongst each other, and Halfdan seems very pleased indeed. And very soon, 2 people enter, carrying between them a man who has been beaten within an inch of his death. And behind follows 2 more. "We found him, sire. We found him but 3 hours' journey to the north. He was hiding in a farm there. But we sniffed him out, didn't we? We sniffed him out. We found him and brought him back to you. The deserter returns." And they toss him down on the floor. And Halfdan the Black rises up from his chair. He goes up and he pokes the lying man with his foot and says, "Well then, you return, as I said you would, if you would fail me one more time." And he pulls him out, and he puts him in a chair, leaning forward with his chest towards the backrest of the chair, and he ties his hand together and his feet together in front of him. And then he pulls out a knife, and he opens up his tunic from behind. And yes, you both recognize what's about to happen. He's about to do a blood eagle on this man as he starts carving up the skin of his back, first along the spine, all the way from neck to ass, and then starts to flay him from behind, from both sides, opening up the skin, making them look like wings on an eagle. And this man dies in front of you.
I sit in a chair and grab a piece of, well, whatever food there is, and chew on it as I watch and nod. A righteous punishment for a deserter and a coward, yes! Yes, it is men like this who have brought the end of days upon us.
My stomach is not quite as tough as that of Sigvald. I choose to instead discreetly try and look the other way and talk to the people sitting nearest to me, trying to find out a little bit more of what did this man do? What happened? What foes have you been facing?
That is one of my lordship's hunters. The hunters are of great importance to keeping this hall fed. And this man did not want to share his meat with us anymore. He said that he didn't like the way Halfdan rules this place. So he left us and decided to roam the lands trying to find food for himself on his own.
Ha! A fool! A fool! And yet, I stand, and I go over to the king and the presumed now corpse, and I say, "A moment, great king, let me see. This is a sign. It will lead us to the path we need. Let me scry in his traitorous guts."
He is wiping his knife and his hands. "You want to look for signs in the blood? Be my guest." And he steps back.
And I nod and I kneel down and I take out my short sword and just use it to cut a little into his guts. And yes, this is the sign. This is the second sign we came here to see. And this wretch, he will lead us. He will lead the way, yes. I shall try another spirit roll and see what I see.
And as you start doing this, I'm going to come up next to you, and I'm going to say, "Well, you certainly have some skill, Sigvald Crow. None other, except possibly that of old Grand Ildrusk. The way he read the runes and read the fire. Well, maybe there is more to our kinship than it seems. And I want to inspire him, using my inspire skill to aid him in his reading of the entrails."
Well, you roll first.
That is a 17, so you would get a +2 for the difficulty rating is 10.
Indeed. In that case, I get a 14.
You read the blood of this man, and you see Halfdan in a vision. You see him ruling very brutally, but through his brutality, him and his people are kept alive. He will be a mighty ally for you if you are on his good side. For sure.
Yes, I look over the entrails and I sniff the blood and I briefly smear a small amount of it just on my mouth and I taste the entrails and I spit them out, for they are disgusting. But then I see the image, I see the Allfather. I say, "Old King, the Allfather speaks. You are his chosen. Yes, but true. Well, begin your glorious reign in this land of death and doom. You must act. Tell us, what besieges your land right now? There must be some beast, some curse, beyond the obvious, of course."
There are many curses in this land, and many monsters that roam the dead landscape. But one rumor persists more than any other. We have heard that the sons of Ivalde, the Dark Elf, they still remain in the underworld, in their smithy. These dwarves make mighty weapons and mighty armors. But it is said that no Aesir has come to see them for a long time. If you go there, if you find this place, if you find the way down to the underworld through a ruin a day's journey north from here, if you go down there and if you return with a weapon made by these Ivalde Sönir, then you will forever have a place at my table. For as long as you should live.
Sigvald, I say very emphatically, this could this be the sign that we have been looking for? We knew it was coming. The rumor must be true.
Of course it is true. Yes, great king. I will guide this Valgrim. He will claim your weapon, and we will return. And you will have many more weapons, and you will use them, and you will stop hiding in this ruin, and you will reclaim the glory of the ancestors. I have seen it. You will lead the way on the blood of the enemy.
I hope you speak the truth, Sigvald Crow. For if you do, and if you perform this deed, indeed we may start carving out a piece of this land which once I ruled, and now only a petty fishing village remains.
Yes.
Yes. Go north and find the way down into the underworld and find the sons of Ivalde.
We shall venture north, and upon returning with this weapon, I shall accept your kind offer of keeping me as your right-hand man. And I bow greatly, as if this was very clearly spoken by him just now.
It seems like you have a quest of sorts, a rumor to investigate. You sleep the night here in his hall, and in the morning you set out, going north. Is there some kind of preparation you want to do before you set out? Is it something you want to...
Well, first of all, I believe that after resting, you roll your omens and regain some. I started with 1, you see.
Indeed, that is true. That is true.
So I get to do D3. But I think everyone else gets D2.
Yes, exactly.
That is 2. So I think now I have 3 omens in reserve. Excellent.
I shall ask about the necessary items that we shall need to set out on this quest. Torches, perhaps a rope. Aside from that, I have my long sword and my thick stinking hide. If there's someone that has a shield, maybe I could use that. Otherwise, I shall see to nothing but bringing glory.
People are not very happy about lending out life-saving equipment for people going out on a quest which is probably doomed to fail. So I don't think you'll get someone to lend you a shield, unfortunately.
That's fine. I do not really need it. It was more if they wanted it blessed by the sacredness of such a quest.
I mean, let's do a roll for it. If you want to try to persuade someone to lend out their shield, you may, but it's going to be a DR16.
Yes, and I don't roll very well on it. It is 9, so no. I raise my hand and I say, fine. Not that we need it.
Yes, otherwise I have eaten, well, I imagine the scant dried fish from last night, but at least it is something in my stomach, and the fire. No, I rise in the morning, I wield my staff and my sword, and I immediately begin walking out to the north, saying, "Come, Valgrim, the All-Father awaits ye."
It is time we go, it is time. And I lead the way out. I try to keep my eyes about me on the way as we go towards this ruin that is supposed to be out there. Truly, I say to Sigvald, can it really be the sons of Ivalde still remain here?
Yes, deep in the ground, burrowing like worms, they wait. They wait for us to be carrion, and then they will rise and claim the dead land. But no, we will steal from them first. We will find our way to the forge. You will find a weapon, and then we will leave. Like thieves in the night, we will steal from them before they steal from us.
Yes. I rack my brain and try to think of anything that we could use to our advantage. Whatever I know of how these dwarves and the sons of the Dark Elf would act.
I think it's that's a knowledge roll, but it's going to be a very high difficulty rating because there is a skull talent which is called recall history. So I'm going to say that it's going to be a DR. It's going to be a DR 16 knowledge roll, actually.
All right. Yes. Well, what do I know? Let's see. That's a 12, unfortunately.
No, I mean, of course, you've heard of Ivalde, the Dark Elf, and his two sons. But other than the fact that they are great smiths, you don't know anything else about them. They're said to live in the underworld.
I know all about these. Ivalde and his sons. They live in the underworld. They are the greatest smiths ever. And then I can remember, actually, I don't remember. Did I tell you about old Grandil Thrusk?
Yes, constantly, always, on and on with the stories of your ancestor, I think. No? Tell me again.
Well, he is my ancestor, and he was the one founding the village of Old Albinstorp before it even existed. And thus, he settled down on a place that was once racked so hard by an infestation of the foul, dark dwarves, and he sang out his war cry, and the stone reverberated with such ferocity that it closed the very earth where they lived, and so they could not make it out, and they suffocated, and they had to die.
Yes, of course. I know all these things. I know them all. I do, and I move onwards, dimly remembering there was a time I knew these things. I knew the stories and the songs, but I have forgotten them. But that is fine. I will remember them again one day. One day they will all be remembered again. But on that, not this day, no, on this day I only remember my nightmares from the night before, where I dreamed of us deep beneath the earth, drowning in liquid fire. But that is not what will happen. No, that is just what could happen. Yes, and I move on as I simply say, yes, the underworld, yes, the dark elves, the dwarves, yes. And
you traverse the land northwards. I will need a roll to see how well you find your way as well, actually. And let's go with a perception roll. You're looking for a ruin that is lying a day's travel to the north. So let's go with a perception roll for this.
Shall we both roll?
You may both roll, that's okay.
A 15. Surprisingly not that bad.
I roll a 16.
So that means that you find your way forward quite well, but I will make another roll on the random table on traversing the dying north. You were traveling along the way, and you come to a brook where you stop to catch your breath and have some water. All waters in the dying north are poisoned, you know this. Your body normally seems to accept it, though you know that it is slowly killing you. First of all, I need you both to test health, please. Difficulty rating 12.
Well, we're very good at that, aren't we, Craig?
I am. I get a 12.
Oh, great.
Great. I get a 2. And then the question is if I'll need to use one of my omen points to re-roll that, or I should withstand whatever comes.
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, will you tell me what it means if I do not succeed, or should I just leave it? Otherwise, I'll leave it and face the consequences.
I mean, yeah, you could... okay, I'll tell you what'll happen. You will take D3 damage, and your health will be decreased by 2 for D2 days.
So maybe, yes, a reroll could be good.
Well, considering I only have 2 hit points, we might want to try and survive this second obstacle that we're meeting. Well, that's a 10.
That's a 10. That is a failure.
I look over to Valgrim and I see him drinking of the poisoned water, as I must do, and I swallow it down, gurgling, and I spit it out. And then I look to Valgrim and I smack him hard on the back and say, Valgrim, drink the goddamn water, drink it down. You must toughen yourself up in the name of the Old Father.
I am drinking. What are you? Yes, I'll drink some more.
Drink more!
Go.
And I spend 1 omen to will the gods to give him the strength to withstand this poison water, as I do. And that lowers the difficulty rating by 3.
So you don't take the damage, and the normally poisoned water is just at its normal poisonous level, basically.
I'm not sure this was a very good idea, but at least I am not thirsty. I take a deep sniff of the stinking hide that I wrap around me to protect myself from the surrounding elements, and put a mini blade in the dark and just let myself envelop myself in that horrible smell, because it's still somehow more palpable than that of the water.
And I walk through the water onwards, scratching my face, a small bit of blood beginning to form on my fingers as I bleed from one of my terrible, terrible skin blisters.
And you continue on. Due to both of you succeeding with the perception roll, you do reach journey's end by, again, what is just a deeper dark, more than a sunset. And you do find a ruin, indeed. Seems to be an old borg, an old burg, and but it's ruined now. It's been destroyed by fire and flood, and the tower is toppled. The stones have lost their connection to each other, and they all lie in a heap of rubble, basically. So this meets the description of a ruin that you are supposed to seek out in this area.
Onwards, Valgrim, go, scout, look for the passage, you must find it, you.
Yeah. Yes, I will find whatever secrets this place holds. I will find them. We will find a weapon worthy of the king, and then he will embrace us back. And the rune stones, but the rune stones that will be carved for us, for our future and our fates, they will be immense. They will be heavy like the balls of my... Did I ever tell you? Never mind. Let's see. And I start moving forward to just have a first look before we go too close.
So make a perception roll then for me, please, to see what you find in this ruin.
That is... I roll an 18, but it goes up to 20.
Not too shabby at all. You have heard that this ruin is said to be haunted, and that the passageway down is said to be riddled with nasty traps leading down into the underworld. At least the first rumor you can now confirm to be true. you see shapes moving among the rubble, shapes that do not seem to be entirely corporeal.
Shapes here. And as I see this, peering over a piece of rock, my balding head and graying hair hanging down to my sides of my head, I squint, and then I start making my way back to where Sigvald is waiting. And I say, there, a few shapes of the specters, the ghost, something old is guarding the entrance. I can point them out for you with your staff, if you like.
Yes, I shall go and confront these foul demons, foul ghosts, shades I cannot.
Yes. And I will tell you exactly how you can do it. How they are vulnerable. For you, the mighty Sigvald, you shall tear up the earth, the world, and it shall crumble to its feet, making a passage down for us. For that is your power. That is why I am still with you after all these hours.
And I will hobble to the ruins, keeping my staff and sword at ready. And I will look down this tunnel, and I shall loudly proclaim, "Fell spirits and dire guardians, you will let us pass in the name of the All-Father. To bar our passage will incur their wrath, but if you allow us passage, then the gates of Valhalla will be opened to you, not, of course, as warriors, no, but at least you'll be given the honor of dying before true warriors, and granted some form of rest from this eternal hell. What say ye?"
Can I, because I was trying to inspire him earlier, can I roll for that too in this one?
Of course, naturally, of course.
Oh, I roll a 1. That's great.
I'm gonna be a prick here. I'm gonna give you a minus instead of a bonus then for your because your inspiration goes so badly. You actually give this old Völva some bad self-esteem.
Maybe somehow I infect your speech with some of my own ramblings.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. How do you interrupt his speech with like trying to bolster it, but in fact just making it more pathetic?
I consistently throughout his speech, I'm trying to tap his shoulder to get his attention, and say, you should tear up the earth. You should. Wait, just stand there. We're trying to have a
And despite his interruptions, I roll a 15. But is that enough?
No, I'm sorry. It was a difficult rating, 16. Sorry. So due to him interrupting you, these spirits look up and they see you and they point at you and they say, "Death, death."
If that is the case, then perhaps we must roll initiative to see if I have a chance to back away. Do you think?
I mean, you were shouting at them from a distance, so I will, if you have something in mind that could lead to you avoiding combat, I'll allow it.
Well, I shall not avoid combat. They have chosen death, so death is what they shall have as I raise my staff and read upon the rune and cast Call Lightning.
Yes, the stuff. This is what I meant. I meant you should tear them up. This was what I was trying to say.
Okay, so you want to inspire him again. But in this time, in doing the thing you wanted to do.
I was hoping at least I'll not roll a 1. So, am I allowed to do that again?
Yeah. I think narratively it fits perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, it's not a 1, but it is a 7.
still a failure then. So,
No,
yeah.
no extra.
So make a regular roll to use your runic spells on these wights.
But I, despite the lack of assistance, roll a 14. So I am successful in my spell.
Perfect. So you may roll your damage on these wights. There are 2 of them coming towards you.
So 11 damage, and I do it to D3. So 11 damage to... Only 1, unfortunately.
Only 1. Taking 11 points of damage, that's still a lot. The lightning comes down from the sky and hits one of the wights, and it almost falls back, but it manages to catch itself. But you see now that the lightning went through it and caused severe damage to this undead creature, who is now coming towards you. And yes, now it's time to go to see some initiative.
Even with my -3, I roll a 10, I suppose.
There you go.
12.
Okay, so you both act ahead of the wights coming towards you.
Yes, and I have never really used this longsword to actually fight anything. It was given to me, and then I just talked myself out of most situations. So I look down on it in its scabbard, as if just realizing that it's there, and I draw it. And I say, yes, you must die. And I try to swing it, I suppose, at maybe the one that is injured. And I'm also in shock because that lightning that struck, I haven't seen anything like it. It was almost burned to a crisp. He's the real thing. And then I swipe. So let's see. I'm trying to beat a difficulty rating of 12.
Yes, with your strength.
And I have -2 strength. But I actually roll a 15.
Let's just hope you roll a decent damage roll.
Yes, and this longsword that is about to be bloodied, it does a d6. So let's see how much I'll get. A 6.
Valgrim the White Slayer.
Apparently.
You may actually describe how you finish off this undead creature coming towards you both. These 2 are coming up the hill towards you, and they have seen you, and Sigvald calls down lightning on one of them. And then what do you do as you rush forward?
I draw in deeply the smell of ozone and disintegration that has come through the air, and it makes me light-headed. It makes my arms feel light. It's like the sword itself almost isn't there, but an extension of an otherwise flimsy arm. I swing it back and forth several times. It's just like I can't feel my own muscles. I can't feel anything. It's like a toy, and yet it tears through this white, layer after layer, peeling it away. First the head, and then the entire torso, and then there are just 2 stumps of legs standing there. And I stare at them for a second, holding my arm out to the side where the sword is.
Yes. There is no blood on the blade as you cut this shadowy form to pieces. Sigvald, you're up.
Indeed, I turn to the other foe and strike lightning once more, screaming, "In the name of 4, be damned!" 17, which is a hit, meaning I do 2d10 again. Let's see, 2d10. That's 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. And it would have been up to 3 opponents, but as there's only one, I just do it all on that one. So 11 damage this time.
Yes. An equally powerful strike hits the second one, and it trembles as it's moving forward towards you. It is severely injured. But it moves up to... Let's see now. It moves up to Sigvald. And I need you to try and dodge its attack. It's trying to wrap its arms around you. It's trying to wrap its very self around you and taint you with its malice.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 9. It hits me.
So it wraps itself around you, and it does 2 damage to your spirit, actually. What happens is, as it wraps itself around you, its gaze is right up against your face, and it opens its undead mouth and hisses at you, and you can feel your very spirit, your very essence being drawn from you.
Then I damn this creature as it claws at my soul, and I say, Valgrim, damn it, you fool!
What? Oh, yes. Die, you too, foul spirit! Out lashes my sword again. I'm not doing too badly. That's a 14.
Well, it's a hit.
And it's 3 damage.
3 damage. It seems that its shadowy form is a bit harder to hit than it would normally be, so it does not really seem to take all of these 3 damage. And Sigvald, you are panicking as this white is enveloping you. What do you want to do?
I need to stab it myself. I cannot rely on this fool Valgrim. And in my panic, there is no time for the spells. No, I will unleash my short sword straight into it. And that is a fumble. So, that's a 1, so no. So you decide what happens, yes.
I'm gonna say, because I haven't done the fumble tables yet, I'm gonna say that you throw your short sword away. You try to stab at it in panic as it is enveloping you, but instead of hitting it, you actually lose your grip and your sword is flung away 15 meters.
Yes, I fling the sword and I scream, damn you in the name of the All-Father, you will descend to hell with me!
Its gaze falls upon you once more, and you lose 2 more, another D2 to spirit. Where do I have my dice? There I am. And now you go down by 1 more in spirit.
Indeed, as my soul is drained further and further.
Yes. Valgrim, will it be a lucky 3rd?
No, I hit it. Just as I did the other. I feel sweat breaking out on my forehead. I try once again to breathe in that ozone air, but it is fleeting. The air now is filled with the stench of the dead, and whatever that thing is doing to Sigvald, this mighty Volva. Without him, I cannot do this. Die, I say! And that's a terrible roll. Oh, gosh. Well, I'm going to have to use an omen, because this feels dire indeed. I only have 1 left. If I had been clever, maybe I'd have used it before to inflict maximum damage from that attack. But I thought it would have been enough. Well, let's try again. Oh, well, that's a 19 that I roll now. So,
that's a hit.
Let's see if we can do some damage on this thing. That's a 1.
Yeah, sorry. The shadowy form makes it impossible for your hit to seem to be able to catch on to something more than just shadows and air. And the panic of Sigvald increases as he realizes he needs to stop this creature, or it will destroy him.
Yes, bloody Valgrim, curse your name! As I kind of just using my staff, and unfortunately this time I have to kind of use it in melee. I smash it into this being, hoping to cast this spell. Although now my resources are drained. But luckily, I still have the +1 spirit now, so I do cast the spell on a 12, doing D10 damage. That is 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to...
Yes, describe what it looks like as Sigvald in dire panic manages to finish off this second wight.
Yes, as I said, I thrust my Volver staff with the great rib upon it, and this time the electricity comes from the staff itself, almost acting like a lightning rod as this wight is vaporized and screaming electrical fire, and in the process I am thrown back. I fall to the ground, and for a moment close my eyes and seem to perhaps have died.
Sigvald, no, don't be dead. Don't, please. I run over. Please, stay with me, Sigvald. You're the fire, the ferocity of Thor that you brought down on this day. It must live on.
I must rest, you fool. Rest. Set a fire. Make the fire. I must rest.
Yes, I will make the fire. We shall keep away the terrors of the night with flame, and then, yes, you must rest. I shake out my head and again breathe in that air, the noxious fumes, and I look around as darkness starts to slowly fall. I try to make a little fire of what wood and torches that we've brought, so that we can get some rest here before we venture in.
Setting up a fire and a camp to rest up before you take on the journey into the underworld.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play YGGDRASIL Burns by Nordic Skulls, with our dear friend Andreas Lundström. YGGDRASIL Burns is live on Kickstarter right now, and you can find a link in the show notes. This series features music created by Andreas himself specifically for this game. And we have also used tracks from Aegersonus' fantastic album Niflheim, which was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Please check out cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more of their lovely dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, and Leonhardt for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of the Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay there, and you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that supports what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember to revere the old gods.